Welcome, Rick. Thanks for joining. Today, we've kind of a light agenda in the sense that I'm just going to show you charitable gifts and how to add some specific wishes to a charitable gift, for example, and how to make sure they end up in the right place and that kind of stuff. So that's the plan. And then, of course, we'll open the floor for questions about anything else. So here we go. You should be able to see my screen. And so what we have here, this is just your typical plan, okay? And the client says to us, well, I want to make some charitable gifts to some charities. And I want to leave them, let's talk about legacies first. So, and you're talking about the client, and you say, listen, they say, well, I want to make a charitable gift if, if my wife's not alive, let's say. So that's fine. So we would start with the descendants only scenario, right? Because the spouse is predeceased. And we'll go to a cash gift, obviously. Then we go to the charities page. Now, our list of charities, if the client says to you, or I'd say to, okay, anybody who's there right now, yell out a charity. Anybody? Unmute and just give me a name of a charity.
Lighthouse Foundation.
Lighthouse. Okay. So if we type in Lighthouse Foundation, you will see that we have the Lighthouse Foundation. Okay. Now, maybe we're not sure that's what we want. We have all of the website data from CRA's list of charities. So, so let's just make sure that's the right charity. So we'll click on the I button, which shows us exactly, all the information that we might need to make sure this is the right one. And if we're not sure, we could always go to the website and find that out, etc. But assuming that is the right one, let's look at this one. This is the Lighthouse Charitable Foundation. I wonder if that's the one we want. So we would want to double check that and make sure that that we've got the right one. Let's assume it's this one. So we click on that and just go done, and then put in the amount like that. Now, let's say though, we want to make it for a specific provision. We want to say, it is my wish that the funds be used to facilitate, I don't know, good humor. Okay, so we put that in and click OK, add, and then we've got this cash gift there. Okay, so that's doing a few things. Obviously, you can see that it's got $15,000. In the summary, one of the things it's doing is it's figuring out the amount of income tax that would be saved by making this charitable gift. Okay, so that's why there's some income tax saved there. When we go to the, let's just refresh this. When we go to this, to the draft itself, it's going to show you this gift, and it's going to put in whatever we typed in the special provisions clause. It's going to put that in. So let's just go down here. And so here it is. Now, here's something I just made a mistake. It automatically puts the period in. So what I want to do here when I make a specific provision is I don't want to put the period in. Okay, because it'll automatically, I guess we didn't trust people to put the period in after that. So now when it refreshes, you'll see it's only got one period. But that's one of the good things about using the viewers, to make sure before you generate the document that you're getting, especially if you're adding your own clause in here, that you're getting what you want. So if we just go down to the initial gifts, oops, right here, there we go. Okay, so that's that. Now note the opening. Okay, so if our instructions were that we only want to make this gift if our spouse is not alive and our kids are alive, then that's what we've done, right? Because we've only put this gift in one scenario, in the descendants only scenario. So eState figures out what the condition is and puts that in. But more often than not, a charitable gift that's in, for example, the second scenario is also going to be, the same gift is going to be made if everyone's gone. So what we want to do is we don't have to redo this whole gift again. We just copy it. We just copy it to the no descendants scenario. Okay. So now it's both in the descendants only scenario, that is if the spouse dies but their kid's alive, and also in the no descendants scenario. Okay. Now watch the opening here, because this is going to change. What's going to happen here is it now realizes it's not just if there are issue alive, it's in two situations. So it's going to recraft in essence, the condition on when this gift is going to be made. So just go down here, and now you'll see that the opening is just if my spouse is not alive. Well, that makes sense because it's in both the second scenario and the third scenario. Okay. So, that's something that you might be making, a mistake on, is that they just say, oh, I want this charitable gift, if my spouse is not alive, and you just put it in the descendants only scenario, but you may want it in both. Okay. So that's really how you make charitable gifts, in how you make legacies. Okay. And of course you can pick more than one charity. You can't combine them, but you can add another charity if you like. I don't know which one it might be, but let's say it's that one. And, then we've got, again, it's going to be, you can't have, if you want two separate wishes, for example, then you do them as two separate legacies. But this is going to say divide this amount, and it's my wish that the funds be used for both. So it combines the two gifts together, and I'll just show you that. So there are situations where, even though it's the exact same amount, or you're dividing it between the two, you might have different specific provisions. So in this case, we're dividing it between the two. So we might have to sort of edit that in the special provisions to say the gift for Alzheimer's should be dealt with as, my wish that it be used for this, and my wish for the funds to Lighthouse be used for that. So you could put that all in the gift itself here, and it would come out appropriately. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's that. I think that, I don't know if I saved that, but so that's that gift. Let me just try something else. And let me show you a residue clause. So here, let's say we wanted some amount to go to charity and some amount to go to siblings, for example. We could just amend this gift and do a gift for beneficiaries to, let's do Lighthouse again. There it is. And you can do that, and it will draft accordingly. I do want to check that. I wondered if that, I'll check that. So just make a quick note. And then, so let me just show you the residue clause. It's very similar, right? It's going to say, and in this case, I had no special provisions. Does that make sense? Any questions about that? And again, it would calculate the income tax savings of that, right? You can see on the left, by making them a charity, it realized how, again, illustrative, because we don't know exactly what the value of the entire estate's going to be, but it showed a deduction for income tax there because there's a charitable gift. So, just stopping there to see if there's any questions that anybody has for me on this. And Michaela, if you've got any questions that people ask you that you want to raise on charitable gifts, you can let me know that as well. But saves us time. We always get the spelling right and all of those things. So that's helpful. Any questions? I'm trying to think if we have any new features coming out. We don't this week, but there'll be some new features at the end of next week you'll see what they're going to be. The idea that when you add inputs for the client, like you set up, oh, I want my affidavit of execution, I want these witnesses, etc. That is going to, right now, it doesn't get saved anywhere. So each time you generate the will, you've got to, put those inputs in. They're new. They start with your default from your firm level. What we're doing is it's going to what we call persist. So that's when you choose your, and I'll just show you that, but it's not quite yet ready. But when you choose a document and you whatever it happens to be, if it's you're doing your short will, and when these inputs are put in, they'll be saved with the client. So for this particular client, you wanted to change the revocation clause. The next time when you close this client and you reopen the client again, these will be still there, whatever you did last for that particular client. So that's one of the features that's going to be out hopefully by the end of next week. So any questions or issues that people are having with how to do something? Be happy to take any questions. Nope. You can unmute and just speak into the mic if you do. Otherwise, we'll adjourn. This week, Thursday, just while we're waiting for any questions, Thursday, we have Kevin Gluck, the U.S. cross-border specialist, to talk about how to plan when we've got U.S. citizens who are clients of ours in Canada. They're probably residents of Canada, but they're U.S. citizens. What special concerns that raises. So just that's always a good one, and we always learn a lot when Kevin's here. So if that's it, I mean, I'm happy to adjourn if there are no other questions. So, well, thanks, guys. And if there's any topics that you want us to cover the next weeks on for the user webinars, please let me know and let Michaela know, and we'll get to them. All right. Thanks.